Good day, family. I apologize. I was running late. I had to go get some things taken care of, and it took them longer than they said it would. So I did want to just come on and start. I don't like being late, though. I just don't like being late for nothing. But I did say we was gonna finish reading because we got Powernomics to catch us up on. I do catch myself up, and I got so little time. I'm drinking my auntie's Pepsi today because I don't want no tap water and I ain't got no water. Every time I buy a Pepsi to put on the altar, I end up drinking the Pepsi because I haven't put the altar up yet. I ain't got the shelf yet to put the altar back up, so I end up drinking it. But Aunt Becky know I'll replace it. And then one of my other aunties, Aunt Liz, she loved the Pepsis too. That's all she drank was Pepsis and stuff. So yeah, sometimes I will go easy on myself. And it's good to see you all today. It's a little cool here in Minnesota. Still trying to sprinkle a little bit and stuff, but it's a beautiful day. It's still a beautiful day. I wanted to hug a tree, but it's wet. It's wet outside. So yeah, I had to take care of my business and get on home and stuff so I can do this right here. Got a lot to catch up on. So much to catch up on. And once you get behind, it seems like it make it even more difficult to catch up on things. And then when you unlearning and relearning new things, plus your already daily life, daily activity, whether you got kids or, your parents, elders or whatever. So yeah, just bear with me. I appreciate you for being here. I thank you for your presence and your patience because I know it's difficult. When I first started listening to some of our Black medias and stuff, it was hard to sit there and listen for 20, 30, 40 minutes. Then some of them get good and be an hour long and stuff. But I did it. And I just want to say, for our friends and family that this is new to, start them off with them shorts. Start them off with shorts. They'll be just fine with shorts until they get acclimated to that. And that's really like what? 5 minutes, 3 minutes. They just shorts. They different. I'm finna light me an incense, so let me open up my patio. My sister said just have ventilation. And that's common sense anyway. Ain't have ventilation when you got your incense and your sage and you're burning your smell goods. Just have some ventilation and stuff in the house. I want to make my own incense too. I sure do, honey. I got the book over there. All I got to do is try to learn it. And I'll be making my own candles. My own incense. I don't really burn candles a whole lot. I do like them though. I do like candles, but I don't hardly burn candles a lot. But they good. They good to have and stuff. I will buy them from family and stuff. When I get sister's name, I'll let her know because let y'all know because she make candles too. But incense, since I love incense, I'll make my own incense and stuff. So yeah, it's good to see y'all. And we're here to resume our reading of Powernomics. We already know on Face the Nation, we on Bolden Unchained, and we here for Black America. We here for Black America. First and final, Black America. Our main concern is Black America. That's why we're here. If that ain't why you're here, you're going to waste a whole lot of time today. You're going to hear a whole lot of things that might piss you off and irritate you and stuff. So I want you to know you welcome to go. I don't want nobody to feel in no particular type of way, because you ain't even got to stay here. You ain't got to be where you're not resonating nothing. It's too much information out there, too many platforms to be sitting in here getting mad at me about my views and stuff and how I feel. Because now that I'm here, I'm going to tell my people how I feel about everything. Yep. Namely my ancestors. Namely my ancestors and my people. What's going on with us. And politics and stuff, as we delving into today, it ain't never been an interest of mine. I ain't never really cared, and I'm just like, well, they got up there, they made it to them seats and stuff, so let them do the right thing. And that was the wrong way to look at things growing up. Which, after you quit school and stuff, you pretty much ain't got no interest anyway in all of that stuff. And I quit in 11th grade, so it's just kind of like, I kind of threw all the interest where I still could at least kept up with it. But where I'm from, in the deep South, we didn't keep up with voting and stuff like it is here and stuff. Everybody come out. You go get them. Get your ass up. I don't care if you got to take a wash up. Get up and let's go vote. In certain parts of the country and stuff, we don't adhere to it like that. Because I don't know. I guess the fear, the trauma. We don't see the importance or the necessity, the dire consequence in having that vote and having it where it most benefit us. Or maybe our people just know the hell shit, ain't neither one of them goddamn wings gonna do us no good. And that right there in itself was wrong, because we do deserve help, even if it's on a local level. Motherfuckers do need to be giving us like they're giving everybody else too. Now, we all supposed to be necessarily taken care of and stuff. Ain't that what it was saying when we were reading about it and stuff? Well, maybe I was reading about it and stuff, that they have a necessity, a duty, that all of these rights are due to everybody. And, for them to neglect to give it to us because we ain't in the right position. All that shit is done with. So, yeah, I'm trying to understand it myself. And before I begin and stuff, I want to let y'all know I found this right here. Advanced 2026, that's him. The Defiant Lawyers Network. I know I still got the cups. I got to mail the 2 cups out. I still got the list. So the list of members, or is it subscribers? Members, I think, to write down and pull. I ain't got but 2 because I reordered some cups. I didn't know I ordered that many. And I just want to send them to somebody, and I'll do it. And so him, the Defiant Lawyers Network, he's our brother, Augustus Corbet, Esquire. And he got a program for us too, an agenda. Advanced 2026, y'all. That's what it's called. Advanced 2026. And then we know Dr. Claude Anderson, he's got Powernomics. He's got a Black agenda for us. So there are Black agendas. Dr. Claude's agenda has been out here. This book, I'm 20 years late on this book. I've been asleep for 43 years, but I'm just saying, Black America as a collective, as a whole, we 20 years late. So everybody that made it to them pinnacles, honey, for what? You made it to them pinnacles and got you some pillars, didn't you? Now we all got to catch up. This is where the rubber meets the road and stuff. You finna find out who your true friends are. Yep. The Black empowerment. What's this right here? Oh, this is his policy goals, y'all. George Floyd Act, John Lewis Voting Rights Act, eliminate 18-1, more Black judges, lobby state to settle. I just shorthanded this. But these are the policy goals. Lobby state to settle records once the time is completed or expunged. The Black Empowerment Agenda. And that's at the Lazarus Law. You can go to that website. It's lljp.org. I know I just write on stuff until I can find it again. But I got his notebook right here. So do I have it in the notebook? But yeah, we do have agendas. I need help. We gonna do this, y'all. Y'all see how magnificent this is? Just putting it together is coming back around for us and stuff. Yeah, I'm behind, but that's okay. We here now. But yeah, I don't have that in his notebook. I'm gonna have to put it in here. Even the notebooks seem like, they should be up on the wall. And then don't forget, our brother Corbett, Defiant Lawyers Network, he also said that we can turn this whole thing around here, y'all, with the next vote. Yeah, I still got to understand and make sense of this because I'm not used to politics either. I'm like every motherfucker out there and stuff that been signing away everything that we need, signing up for everything they putting out and creating and stuff. Let the slapping begin. I'm not violent or nothing. I'm saying that figuratively. I don't mean go up there and start slapping folks and stuff because that's wrong. Your ass gonna be in jail and ain't nobody got no money to be putting on your books, coming and seeing you and stuff like that. This is not the time to be violent with folks and stuff because vengeance is not ours. Vengeance is not ours. I know the Bible say vengeance is the Lord. Well, I'm here to say vengeance is the ancestors too. My ancestors. Vengeance belongs to them too. Now we probably got this different higher powers. My higher power, I don't give it a name no more. It's just cosmic energy. The way my mind see it ain't got no beginning. It ain't got no ending. Cosmic energy, it's always there. Even if Earth blows the fuck up from all this pollution in the air and stuff, and something gonna ignite something else. Let them do one more thing. And something gonna ignite something else, and the whole motherfucking Earth blow up. Cosmic energy gonna go on. It's other planets out there. Millions of them. We don't even know how many multiverses it is out there. We don't know. So, cosmic energy ain't got no ending. So, yeah, I took mine out the box. My higher power ain't even got no name no more. I just cosmic energy. It can go everywhere. It can do anything. It can be anything. Cosmic energy manifested itself as me and you, the black man and the black woman. All of them planets out there, and cosmic energy wanted to experience humanity on Earth, on this planet. And it invented us. We ain't nothing but cosmic energy. That's all we are. Yep, cosmic energy. And see the star. I think it came down as two stars to manifest us here. Shooting stars. We see them every day. Well, not every day, but you see them. You see shooting stars and stuff. It could have been a rainbow. We could have slid down on a rainbow. Yep. Could have been a drop of rain. I don't know. I like the analogy of the shooting stars because the shooting stars came down. Could have been one for the black man and one for the black woman. I don't know. Could have been one shooting star. But honey, as soon as that sucker it hit the ground and spread out when it hit the earth, that was the beginning. Life, existence. The black man, the black woman. Cosmic energy did it. It was successful. It invented us. It manifested us. That's why that's who we are. We're cosmic energy manifested. So mine ain't got no name. I respect your Yahweh, Yahushua, and God, and all the other names that you have for cosmic energy. But mine is just cosmic energy. But it's the same thing that y'all talking about. I'm talking about the same thing. I just got a little twist to mine. Mine is just a little bit more I don't know, freer, I would say. Mine came from my mind, my thoughts. Mine didn't come from the book, the Bible. I don't think hardly any of my thoughts and ideas come from the Bible because I ain't never read it. So if you must go on that note, I need you to know right now, I ain't never read the Bible. I'm not religious. I thought I was for a long time. That's probably why I was asleep 43 years. Because of religion, I'm forgiving everything and stuff, but we do. We're forgiving people now. I'm not saying we're not no forgiving people because we are. But to forgive our open enemy without any recompense, repayment, atonement, healing, therapy, and still be under attack and still forgiven, even without being asked. It's a problem for me, for us. So, yeah, I want you to know, I want to be as transparent. That's the word transparent with y'all, that I'm not religious. I don't forgive nothing about slavery. What my paper? Because I don't even know all of these things right here. when I woke up after Trayvon Martin and started learning all of these, this is not part of my day-to-day life, living and communicating and speaking and talking, segregation, lynching, murdering, burning, terrorizing, convict leasing, peonage, economic exclusion, predatory leasing, medical experimentation, planting drugs and guns in our communities, lack of quality education, redlining, school to prison pipeline, all of them things right there, them agendas, all of them arrows at us was not part of my language. See, my living, my existing, being in the world, in my community, my school, my family, my friends, where I'm from. None of this is part of our life and stuff or our knowledge. We just don't have it. So we got some work to do. We got a lot of work to do. A lot of times when I do be talking, I be talking to people like myself that didn't graduate, that didn't reach the educational pinnacle. We didn't reach that financial pinnacle. Oh, yeah, we know what it's like to be sitting there biting off all our fingernails wondering about this damn light bill. Why you got to even pay a light bill when our ancestors invented it? But I digress. So, yeah, all of this is really new. It's foreign. It's exciting. It's a new time. It's unprecedented. So, yeah, I want to be on the side to help my people, my ancestors. So that's why y'all keep seeing me struggling and keep coming back and keep trying to read better and better. Maybe if I read the books before I read them to y'all, then I might be better able to read fluidly. But then I don't think so. Once I read it and stuff, I probably ain't going to read it again and stuff to y'all and stuff. These things right here. So I'd rather we learn them together. But like I was saying and stuff, so all of these things right here are with Advanced 2026. And that's the Defiant Lawyers Network. Augustus Corbett. We watch him sometimes. As soon as I get settled, we'll start back watching our videos and stuff because I got to get all this stuff together anyhow. But the website is lljp.org. I haven't gone on there either. I really just saw this. So I'm going to put it in the notebook that I got for him and stuff. But I was just saying, all of this stuff right here. That's why I'm here, to let my people know, because we ain't done enough to make sure Black America is aware of all of these things. We haven't done enough. I can admit it. I failed my people. I sure did. I failed everybody. My mama, my daddy, even my sisters and brothers, my aunties and my uncles, my grandmama, my great-grandmama, because Face liked to read. Face loved to read. But, shit happens. I made mistakes and stuff and quit school. And, and I got to do what I got to lay in the bed you made. Ain't that what they teach us? You gonna lay in the bed you made. So having babies as a teenager and stuff, I quit school in 11th grade. And I feel like, that was the best thing for me to do. I failed everybody, failed my daughters too. But I can stand up on it now. I can own up to it. Yes, I did. So don't let your babies get away from you. When they get to going through things out here and stuff, don't let them run out there in the streets with their friends and so-called friends and so-called skin folks and family and stuff that's doing all kind of reckless shit. Keep your babies at home. Keep your babies at home. It's always something to teach them. We got new stuff to teach them now. We got new knowledge to teach them now. Ain't nothing out there more important, more interesting, more beneficial than learning about us. It ain't nothing out there. Hell, you see what the celebrities look like? And look at them. Look at the shit that's going on with those that we look up to as y'all do. Look up to as role models. And and know them on sight. Hell, I don't know half of nobody if they ain't old school. I don't know who the hell these people is out here. But that's not no role model that we need. It's not a role model that we need. So, don't let your babies leave home. I left my mom when I was 16, and honey, that's my biggest regret in life, in this life, is leaving my mother when I was 16. But, things happen in life. You go through things and stuff. I made it here. I might have went the long way around, but I made it here. And y'all, another Black agenda, we know Dr. Boyce Watkins, the Black Stock Market Program.com. I listen to him sometimes and stuff, but I'm more or less, I resonate with Dr. Claude Anderson. I kind of struggle listening to boys and the Defiant Lawyers Network. I'm good with listening to him. But me and boys, I don't know, it's something. I don't know what it is, but he is a brother and he do have a solution for us. So I just have to work out that bullshit within myself. I don't know him. Maybe it's his voice. Hell, I don't know. Shit, I just like, But yeah, Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's worthy of our, listening to and learning from. Just because he don't resonate with me like that and stuff, I still go to him and I still got him down as one of our solutions. We got to be solutions. We got to look for them. They there. They are there. I promise you. What we've been believing about us, that we can't think, we can't organize, we can't put nothing together. All of them was motherfucking lies, honey. I am telling you, everything was a lie. Sure was. And I just want my people to know. Everybody else gonna be motherfucking all right. Don't you worry about the other groups of people on this planet. I mean, in this country, right here where we at. Because they motherfucking ass is gonna be okay. It's us that we need to worry about. Finally. But let's give some shout outs because I don't want to keep y'all overly. Hey, how you doing, Lele and Elijah? It's so good to see y'all. I don't want to keep y'all long today because I was late anyway. But I want to come on and get to reading and stuff. I don't want to, keep putting myself off because it's taking me longer to just get used to this. Just get used to coming on and stuff. So one day if y'all see me and you don't see me, then just be like, oh, hell, shit. I might go to a faceless channel. I don't know. We just going to take it by ear and stuff because I'm still trying to get used to this as well. It's been 6 months, seemed longer than that, but I'm real slow. Yeah, take me a minute. So, yeah, today we are reading Powernomics, the national plan to empower Black America. Oh, yeah, let me get the fundamentals out the way. The copyright disclaimer under 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Ain't nothing wrong with you getting up here, talking to your people, reading. If you can read, that's all you got to do. If you can read, you can get up here and talk to your people. Teach your people. We need to know. We need to know. Even if you stutter a little bit, that's all right. My mama stuttered. I stutter. We all gonna be stuttering before this shit hits the fan. Don't let nothing stop you from getting up and assisting your people now. Because we need all of us. I don't care if you ain't doing nothing but cleaning out the refrigerator. Shit. I don't care. Get up and talk to us. Talk to your people. If it's too much for you and you can't get up on these platforms and say nothing, not a word or a whisper, then do it to your family. Teach your family, your community. Go. It's plenty of trees out there still. They ain't cut them all down. Get you a blanket. Get you some little water bottles and stuff, and maybe some little sandwiches and get you some cilantro. You can just be eating cilantros and maybe some grapes and stuff like that. The kids and people gonna come out there because you're gonna be reading. You finna be reading. When they come out there and stuff, just keep on reading. Let them know. Go on and eat and stuff. When you want to eat you a little bit, honey, give the book to one of the kids. Get a book to one of them or one of the elders out there. Where's Betty before X? Ooh. Yeah, when you start eating you some grapes and stuff, give the book to Shay Shay. Shay Shay 11, 9. She can read though. Hell, everybody gonna be busy eating anyway. Shit, they probably gonna miss the first chapter. Cause they gonna be busy eating. And see, Shay Shay gonna be getting in her groove of reading. So when y'all start coming out there, Shay Shay already know. Shay, when you need a break, Shay Shay gonna be ready, waiting for the book. Go on and do it. You ain't got to come here and do it like this, but you got to start somewhere. We got to start somewhere. I don't mean to be getting all, hyped up and stuff, but yeah. I love my people. And I know we can do this. I know we can save us. Can't nobody tell me we can't save us. Who else gonna do it? Who else gonna do it? Not only that, honey, we got to save the whole motherfucking planet. We got to save the whole motherfucking world. We got to save the whole world. I don't mean to cuss you, Mother Gaia. Yeah. We got to save the whole world. We got to save this planet. We got to save the pets of the planet. The ones that still living, that they ain't extincted. Yeah, we got to save the planet. Black America. You the only one here. And then there's Black Africa, one and the same. You know, don't get me wrong and stuff, because I don't speak about Africa a lot and stuff, but it's one and the same. That's how I became who I am. Face the Nation, reading Roots. When I was a young girl, reading Roots. So yeah, I do resonate with Africa. They going through their things too. And I'm not saying that we can't confront Africa, because I got a brother out there right now letting Africa know that they done did wrong. And so they got to take that. I can't stop it. They got to take that too. But here in America, so I just want to say that we got to save ourselves. We got to save the planet. Mother Gaia. We got to save Mother Gaia. We got to save the pets. These folks done extincted so many pets. Now I find out we got to save the plants, the plant species, trees, the forest being just cut down. It's like 65 plant species been extincted. Yep. And I know when no Black folks that extincted them. Sure wasn't. But yeah, we got to do this. So we got to heal us. We must heal us. And you know what? I'm reading about my aunt now. Where's my book that I'm studying? Sacred Woman. And my aunt is quite possibly, most likely, I'm pretty sure, I don't even gamble, but I would bet my last $2 and my 2 dimes that my aunt can straighten out this whole balance, harmonize this whole essence of life on this planet if we just get with it. We get with it. My aunt, the 42 laws of my aunt, your ass already got the 10 commandments in the Bible, from the Bible. You already somewhat there. You got the 10 commandments. I didn't know the 10 commandments came from the 10 commandments came from the 42 laws of my aunt. I didn't know either, honey. I think I asked somebody about that. Yeah, we're going to read. Might not be much, but we're going to read today. I asked somebody about that, and they told me no, that it didn't. However, where my notes at? I got all 42 of them because I call them out. I read them out in AM and then again in the PM. And I'm going to find them. I done set them somewhere. But it's the 42 laws of my eye, y'all. It's a whole new awakening going on. I can't even say it enough about this awakening that's going on. This realization, this is epiphany that's going on. And yeah, we got to find the answers, the solutions to it. Is this it right here? Oh, my ancestors. Yes, it is. Right here at my feet. Look. The 42 laws of my eye. Oh, yeah, I write everything down. That's what you're going to have to do, too. Write everything down. Right? Even if you ain't got to, even if you don't like annotating and stuff, do it for the babies. We know you love us. Some of them pictures and stuff, you can at least devote one wall to something. At least some recipes of cleaner dieting, cleaner eating. Once them babies start reading on that wall and see that them chicken McNuggets at McDonald's got 19 damn ingredients in it, oh, they're going to be, oh, no, I don't want this. Once they realize that what's in these foods and stuff, they're going to be like, no, I don't want no French fries today, Mom. I'd rather just go home and you cook. So, yeah, we got to start doing that. So, yeah, I do write everything. Don't judge me about it here. I'm trying to learn the best way I can. Everybody don't learn the same anyway. Some people learn by hearing. Some people learn by seeing it. Some people learn by doing it, hands-on. I think I learned by all three. Shit, just so I could get the message. But anyway, it says right here, Ma'at is for balance, harmony, truth, law, righteousness, and reciprocity. You know, I can't get that word. Reciprocity. Yeah, reciprocity. That's the laws of Ma'at. Yes, this is beautiful. Netera, the creator, one all divine, which life originates. Neteru. Yeah. You might as well go on back. We calling everything else and stuff. So I just wanted to tell you these right here are the 42 laws of Ma'at. Yep. These right here are the 42 laws of Ma'at. I should have circled the 10 commandments for you, so you can go right to them. I will. I'll circle them for you, so when I show it to you again and stuff. So yeah, Ma'at, we need to get back to it. We need to. They've taken away everything and used it for them their own self. Anybody can steal your groceries, hell, and go cook a meal. Hell, it might be better than yours when they get to cooking it. Might be a totally different meal once they get them ingredients you don't forget on top of your cart. So yeah, people are utilizing it. But if it wasn't meant for them and stuff, they can't get the complete usage out of it like it was meant to be used. See what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why it's up to us. It's us. We are cosmic energy. Yeah, we are cosmic energy. When that star came down from the cosmos and it hit the planet Earth, we cosmic energy. Cosmos and the Earth. Because once that star hit it, it resonated. It resonated all over the planet. That's why we all over the planet. We're people. We're the parent of all people. So yeah, it's us, y'all. We're gonna have to heal everything, everybody, put harmony back to this planet. If they want to go to Mars, take your ass on to Mars and stuff. But I would suggest and advise them they probably want to stay where they supposed to be at. Everybody ain't meant to be out there in cosmic energy in the multiverse. It's a difference between heaven and the afterlife. We'll get into it sometime. That yeah. Where I'm from, you only know about heaven and hell. And that's all black people. I don't know another black person that say it's something other than heaven and hell. But except for the mentors, my mentors. But other than them, I don't think it's anybody that even accept or acknowledge that it's a third place you can go to. No, it's either got to be heaven or it's got to be hell. No, it don't. Not for black people. It don't. Not for children of the sun. It don't. We go back to the cosmos, baby. We go back to the ethers, honey. And we can come back to Earth if we want to. These people don't blow it up. I'm just saying, but let's read. Because, yeah, I ain't got but a few minutes here. And I want to at least get started with this. Because this right here is going to be a huge solution for us, y'all. We're going to learn so much with this. The burdens of inequality. And we know this is Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. We are on chapter 1. And these are some pretty long chapters. So I'm going to just try to finish it before I got to get out of here. And then y'all can go enjoy your day. Be happy. Know who you are. Where you come from. I don't know. We might not finish this chapter, honey. I'm already at look at that. Yeah, I don't read that fast. But let's read. The burdens of inequality. The concept of race has progressed from the international competition for wealth and power to religious doctrine, to biological classification, to a personal attitude. Yeah, that's the concept of race. Race done went from international competition for wealth and power, then it went to race doctrine, religious doctrine, then it went to biological classification. Now it's at a personal attitude. The concepts of race. Yet conditions and opportunities are unequal between competing minority groups. There has been no equal sharing of burdens in our equal opportunity society. It sure ain't. Members of ethnic, class, gender, disabled, religious, Spanish language, and sexual orientation groups have not been treated in a manner equal to blacks. This nation has never enacted and supported public policies and laws that have denied non-blacks access to this nation's educational, political, social, and economic systems. And it hasn't. They ain't never offered nothing. They ain't never done nothing. They ain't never built. They ain't never contributed. No amendments, nothing. These groups have not been customarily lynched, castrated, exploited, and denied the fruits of their labor. Blacks are the only group of people forced to practice capitalism without capital in the richest and most capitalistic nation on earth. And we read this yesterday, but since we at the beginning of chapter 1, I might well go on and, read it again. Then I done started anyway, ain't I? Racism and other legacies of slavery predetermined the success of Black Americans as a group. One of the most glaring examples of inherited inequalities is wealth distribution. Black America's percentage of ownership of the nation's wealth remains where it was in the 1860s. Remember I told you that last night? I think I said 1865. But right here, we're reading it again. Black America's percentage of ownership of the nation's wealth remains where it was in the 1860s on the eve of the Civil War. At that time, when nearly every Black person in America was either in full slavery or in semi-slavery, Black people own 0.5% of this nation's wealth. The emancipation of enslaved Blacks in no sense rendered social justice and economic recompense. Nothing. And you still own 0.5%. That's all you own. And that's just like a charity. That's just like some charity they give you or let you get. Let us get and attain, but we can't get no more. They got everything shut, blocked, sold off. Like it's they done iron welded it shut. But you can keep that 0.5%. And they cool. They all right with that. After them motherfuckers done stripped us, lied, manipulated, took everything, left us with nothing. Left some of my brothers as eunuchs. What was it, like 40,000 Black men were eunuchs in this country? I don't want to get distracted and stuff because I'll be trying to look it up. Maybe it was 14 million, but I think it was 40 million. I digress. Blacks even find that our homes. Okay, let me back up. Today, more than 140 years later, we are 100% free physically. Yet Black Americans still own only 0.5% of this nation's wealth. Today, the income of Blacks as compared to whites has regressed to the level it was at the end of the 1960s. Approximately 38% of the Black population is beneath the poverty line, and another 1/3 is marginal, just on the margin right there. A little bit more, their ass gonna be below the poverty line. The limited assets that Black Americans most often have, such as automobiles and personal effects, depreciate rather than appreciate in value. Blacks even find that our homes, usually our most valuable assets, have a limited market and prices are dictated by urban renewal, expressways, or gentrification. The average Black person passes on 0 assets to future generations. The typical white family, however, is more economically stable and secure. Approximately 87% of this nation's economic assets are now frozen within the dominant white society and are passed on from one generation to the next in the forms of stocks, bonds, trust accounts, endowments, foundations, and insurance policies. So yeah, see, these motherfuckers got everything, still getting everything. Yeah, that's why they freaking out. Finna fucking spaz out on everybody. When the shit dry up and the shit hit the fan, and ain't nobody gonna have nothing. Everybody gonna goddamn it be walking barefoot if they don't have us all in black and blue shoes. That's all you gonna get. Yep, black and blue. Or is it black and brown? But you just gonna have them rural, them earth tones. Ain't finna be no more colorful, nothing. It's probably starting with the dyes. I just say, I digress. Yeah, white folks get everything. So when they born, white people is born, white kids and stuff, they already, well, we done lost all of these assets and stuff, but we still got this right here. See, as long as it's still any remnant of this motherfucking system still running, they still got this. Yeah. Therefore, white children are privileged to enter the world with 87% of the resources that they need to succeed in life already in their families, in their race, in their communities, their businesses, schools, governments, or social organizations. And then a lot of white folks, no, you lying face. We ain't got all that money. I worked just as hard. Yeah, you did, but hell, you still got it. It's an inheritance. You don't get it till somebody pass away. But whatever the case, your ass still got it. Your people got it. Your parents, your elders, grandparents got it. Stop motherfucking lying. Because you know, if you go to great grandmama, your grandmama, and let her know, yeah, I'm $35,000 in the hole now. I've been trying to pay down this mortgage and stuff, and every time I make some payments, there's always something going on. You know her ass gonna write you that check and give you probably $5,000 to take home with you. But you know, it ain't even about all that no more. Keep what you done stole, what you got. But you better make the amends. You better right this wrong the best way you can. Because it's out of our control anyway. We might be able to, if they want to, if the family want to. But for me, I ain't looking to give no mercy to nobody. Nobody. Because you should at least say, no, I don't want that. Just like you, oh, I don't want that blood money. You should have been like, no, I don't want that money that we inherited and stuff. I don't want nothing to do with this big old plantation, not away house. I don't want nothing to do with that. Not a damn thing about not away is finna be tied to me. But now nobody did that. Ain't no white person renounced none of the wealth that they asses received from slavery, Jim Crow, all of that other shit that's on that paper. So yeah, miss me with that bullshit that we all struggling. Tell them to cut the check. Therefore, white children are privileged to enter the world with 87% of the resources that they need to succeed in life already in their families, race, community, business, school, governments, and organizations. Hell, it might be 57%. Now, who the fuck cares? They getting it. They still getting it. Thus, succeeding generations of white people can access these wealth resources over and over and over and over again. Yeah, that's why we can be so happy and generous. And oh, your babies are so beautiful. And I love black people. I do love black people. And then go home to your lush. What is wealth? Wealth refers to the net value of a person, group, or community less their liabilities or debt at a given point in time. It is stored value. Income, in contrast, refers to a flow of dollars over a period of time. With rare exceptions, most blacks are so marginalized that they own and control little wealth or resources anywhere, including their own neighborhoods. The ancestors of enslaved blacks were forced to concentrate simply on surviving, pursuing civil rights and integration. We should have left that integration shit out of there. But since we didn't, now we got to right that wrong because it was wrong. Yeah, they had little to bequeath to their descendants. Even though they succeeded in their civil, social, and civil rights efforts, their children cannot inherit welfare, food stamps, public housing, or a good job. Yeah, I think we on chapter 2. Oh, no, this is where we at. I'm right. 3 major impediments to black competitiveness. Regardless of how fast and how high black Americans jump without proportional wealth ownership and control of resources, it is nearly impossible for black people to play the game of capitalism and even more difficult for them to win. Why can't blacks win? Let's examine 3 major impediments to black self-sufficiency and competitiveness. Figure 2 shows that the 3 major impediments are maldistribution of wealth and resource powers, inappropriate behavior patterns, lack of a national plan for empowerment. And we just read about the maldistribution of wealth and resource powers, with 87% of this nation's economic assets going to white folks. It could be a little lower now, a little less now because of everything that's going on with your rumpus now. But I digress. And then inappropriate behavior patterns is because here we've been listening and learning from our open enemy. We've been using them as role models. They ain't no role models for us either. We've been taking everything they've been forcing on us, presenting to us, that's trending for us and stuff, and just running away with it. Now we act like we ain't got a motherfucking common sense to make a dollar with. So yeah, them inappropriate behavior patterns. And then third is the lack of a national plan for empowerment. That's what this is going to solve. So yeah, we can rectify all 3 of these areas, and we finna. Each of these three major impediments is carefully examined and discussed in detail in the next few sections of this book. And this right here is his, if you can see this right here, this is the scale right there, the diagram. And the first one is at the bottom, maldistribution of wealth and resource powers. Number 2 is inappropriate psychosocial behavior patterns. And number 3 is no national economic or political empowerment plan. So they go like 1, 2, 3. The first impediment, maldistribution of wealth. The first impediment to Black empowerment is the structural wealth inequities between Black people and white people. To begin our journey to self-empowerment, we must first understand that these inequities are structural, much like the framing of a house. The frame provides the underlying support for the walls, the ceilings, and the floors. You can't see the framing. You cannot see the framing once the walls and flooring have been completed. As long as the house stands, the way in which the house was framed will dictate not only its shape, but also the mobility of the people who live inside the house. And so the way that house, like your house is shaped, that's the only way you can go. How you can go. And here I got like a wall right there. And sometimes I'm going around that wall chasing his motherfucking ass. But it's the way that your house is built that determines how everybody's day going. You going from here to the kitchen, to the bathroom, back to the kitchen, back to the bedroom, to the laundry room, just all over your house and stuff. That's what it's talking about and stuff. So racism is like that. Yeah, racism, white supremacy is like that. It's already got its route. It's already got several routes. And that's how the traveling is being done. Yeah, but let's read. The structural racial inequalities of wealth and resource powers function in a similar way. They are buried in the fabric of American society. They dictate life chances, rewards, and opportunities, and they explain how people act in race matters. White people have had such total control over wealth, power, resources, and basic necessities of life that it has become the norm. Can't nobody imagine nothing else but white people always being on top. White people always having the money, the wealth, the land, the assets, the comfort. Racial myths have long promoted the belief that the conditions of Black Americans are the consequence of nature rather than the result of this nation's historical acts. The structural inequalities of race can only persist if the historical origin of white control of wealth, resources, and power remain either unknown or ignored. White society will not publicly admit that its powerful self-interest perpetuate the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery. Yep, white society, white people will not publicly admit that its powerful self-interest perpetuate the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery. The critical contributions of Black people to the development of this nation and the Western civilization are largely hidden. To admit Black people's contributions is to trigger white guilt and a sense of responsibility for Black people's predicament. Ooh-wee, where is white fragility? Honey, baby child. Yes, white fragility. We're going to have to get off into that. Yep. Yes, honey. Because now, allegedly 2025, you ain't finna claim and say that you so broken, you the victim, and you being threatened, and you being harmed, and you not feeling safe. And so everybody is been devastated by you. You don't get to come out now in 2025 allegedly and claim that you the victim. No, not today. I'm just saying, but let's read. According to records, the majority society compiled its wealth by using a simple economic principle. The industry of slavery produced a 1,500% return on investment without the burden of wages, employee benefits, and taxes. And I would be so inclined to say that I'm not against Dr. Claude Anderson or none, but these folks lie so much, honey. I believe that percentage Their percentage of return, honey, was much higher than that. The lifetime profits produced by slaves were passed on to the slaveholders' heirs, and their heirs. Wealth accumulated for white people, while poverty accumulated for black people. Our nation claims to be an equal opportunity, colorblind society after more than a century of maldistributing the nation's land and wealth producing resources to everybody but black people. Now your asses want to be one. Yeah. Don't see color. But after Jim Crow segregation ended in the 1960s, and this nation formally became a just society, the white society, white people, committed only $15 billion to conduct a war on poverty. Since this program included every group in America, it is unclear how this limited effort was supposed to correct the centuries of abuse and trauma and torture that was inflicted specifically on black people by them, by white folks. Seems to me like they plan on helping everybody with that $15 billion but black people. Social conservatives argue that 7 years of the Great Society programs fulfilled all responsibilities that white society had to black people for 400 years of slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery. Then that's social conservatives argue that 7 years of the Great Society programs. Let me underline that. What the fuck is that? What the hell is that? Great Society programs. Oh, yes. Oh, my ancestors. Spirit come through. We're going to see what that is. Social conservatives argue that 7 years of the Great Society programs fulfilled all the responsibilities that white people had to black people for 400 years of slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery. We're going to see what that's about. Neither the United States government nor social conservatives have offered a public explanation for including gender, ethnic, class, Spanish-speaking, and disabled groups in a program that supposedly paid the nation's debt to black people. Ironically, during the same 7-year period, this nation spent $120 billion on the war in Vietnam, which was 8 times larger than the amount spent on the war on poverty. Ain't that some shit, man? Somebody should have been no said. I don't know. How could our people not have seen any of this and not say nothing? This nation spent $120 billion on the war in Vietnam. Ain't that the war Muhammad Ali said he ain't going to fight? But then the motherfucking asses spent only $15 billion for this country on the war on poverty. Hidden behind the facade of a colorblind society, racism in the 1970s became politically incorrect. To maintain the status quo, structural racism replaced overt racism, and the term minorities replaced blacks. See, I was born in the 70s. That must have been the illusion. What is that? The illusion of inclusion began. Let's read. Our monopolized society. Racism in America has gone through a number of mutations, though always retaining its inequities. Yeah, racism always changed, but your motherfucking asses, they asses keep the wealth. They asses keep the wealth. That's why you can let this bitch burn. Let this motherfucker burn to the ground. Hey, the phoenix rises from the ashes, right? Rise, people. Let's rise. Fuck the dumb shit. We finna read and rise. Let this motherfucker burn. It is now practically impossible for members of our society to see and prove racism against black people. Defiant Lawyers Network was mentioning that. Oh, it'll come to me. What did he call it? Where you are able to dispute racist acts and you can prove it. Even though they don't say the N word, they don't say nigger, but you can prove that it's a racist act. You can prove it. Well, they trying to wipe that out. So without that right there, you can't even prove that it had racist intentions or what. Yeah, everything just fucked up anyway. Let the shit burn. It is now hidden behind a pseudo-egalitarian smokescreen. Social conservatives and the power elite praised Martin Luther King Jr., picked up the rhetoric of the Black Civil Rights Movement, but distorted the fundamental intent of the movement. They proclaimed that racial inequality no longer existed, and all groups of people were starting out even. Thus, they created an illusion. Just like a drunk who took his pet alligator into a bar, cut off his tail, painted it yellow, and called it a dog. Social conservatives and the power elite are taking racism through similar false transformations. However, no matter how it is camouflaged, racism is still right before our eyes. Old-fashioned racism has gone legitimate again, masquerading with all the rights and privileges of approved monopolies. We might be 20 years late in getting to this book, but we right on time. It's right on time for what's happening today. See, we could have avoided all of this 20 years ago. Could have avoided all of it. Now, 20 years into the future, let's say that we avoided it for then. We're stopping it for 20 years in the future. That's what we're doing. The word monopoly emanates from the word monarch. According to Charles R. Geist, Geisst, the author of Monopolies in America, the tradition of monopolies was inherited from English common law. The British Crown granted patent letters to merchants, giving them exclusive rights to provide certain goods or services. Any monopoly conveys the ultimate source of power, wealth, and control to a person, group, or business. When the business entity has a monopoly, it dominates and controls nearly all the aspects of an industry and can use its massive power to raise barriers to control markets and bankrupt competitors. A racial monopoly, like any other monopoly, is defined by its origin and the power it has over its competitors. On its way to becoming an essence of various white monopolies, racism has passed through three monopolistic stages. The first stage is a natural monopoly that protects things that are strategically vital to the government itself. In race matters, whiteness and all of its ramifications was always strategically vital and invaluable, entitling its bearer to wealth, privileges, authority, power, and certain inalienable rights. INALIENABLE. I seen the word before, but it ain't no usable word right now. I don't use it a lot. It ain't part of my vocabulary just yet. The United States Constitution codified whiteness as a national asset. As a national asset. Whiteness is a national asset. Various state and local governments passed anti-miscegenation laws that defined whiteness and protected it from race mixing. So see, they had it right all along. We weren't supposed to mix with them. The second is a collusive monopoly. The first one is a natural monopoly. Now it's a collusive monopoly. This monopoly exists when members of a tightly knit group of public agencies or private corporations enter into specific agreements to control the marketplaces or the wealth, power, and resources of a society over their common competitor. Like everybody like on a certain street, be like, yeah, well, we all gonna keep our prices at a certain price and get them out of here. And that way, they can ease them out while they all at a certain level and stuff, because everybody gonna be coming to them when they need some. When this store closed, I go to this one. This one closed, I go to them. While you out, I go to them right there. But ain't nobody gonna go over there and get it. They all agree to do some shit like that so they can stay in power. I digress though. Yeah, that's just, in my opinion, that's what it's saying. In race matters, it is a collusive monopoly when this nation continuously expands the definition of whiteness to include a hierarchy of ethnic groups. Today, it includes a succession of immigrants from Europe, the Middle East, Spanish-speaking countries, and Asia. All of these groups are unified as members of the Caucasian race, with the exception of Blacks and Asians. And according to Andrew Hacker, Asians are on probation to be classified as white people. So yeah, all of y'all asses is white. All of y'all asses need to get up and go. Hey, you said it. You the one that let them classify y'all as white. And all other groups of people done let them classify them as white. And this land is not a historical white land. This land is not a Caucasian land. None of y'all's. So on that point, since everybody, got something to say, I, don't know none of this. I ain't on none of y'all motherfucking sides. I think everybody need to get up and go. If your land is going through war times and stuff like that, then yeah, stay here until it's safe to go back. Because you can't go back and help fight. Shouldn't the men be back fighting and the women and the children and the elders be here safe until it's safe to go back home? I'm just saying, in my opinion, everybody been saying, go back where you come from. Go back where you come from. Well, now, yeah, let's see who need to go back where they all come from. Because, this is like appalling. Schools need to start teaching. We got to start teaching our babies and stuff. Immigration laws are examples of specific agreements that control marketplaces, wealth, and power. These laws establish new priorities for admission, the country of origin, family members who are already here, possession of needed skills, and the financial ability to purchase entry. This criteria is based toward immigrants with skin color that is more acceptable than Black. The third stage is a shared monopoly. So we got natural monopoly, collusive monopoly, and now shared monopoly. This is a popular term used in the business world today. A shared monopoly is a composite of a collusive and natural monopoly. It reaches its maximum effectiveness when members of a group work together to control or drive competition out of the marketplace. Small businesses have federal antitrust laws to protect them from the power of large corporate monopolies. But there are no constitutional or government provisions that prevent the white people, white society, talking about white people, and its feeder immigrant groups from shutting Blacks out of political and economic marketplaces. It's only a matter of time. Y'all. Ain't nothing to stop them. A brief history of monopoly building in America. Over the course of this nation's history, there have been at least 3 major phases of monopoly building for wealth and power. The first monopoly building phase in American history occurred during the colonization of America, when Europeans in general, and the English in particular, formed and held natural monopolies in land ownership, slave trading, and slavery-supported industries. England exerted the power of its newly found slavery-based wealth by instituting the Navigation Act in the 1760s and other laws and tariffs. There go that word. And other laws and tariffs that mandated that American colonists ship their slave-produced raw products and goods to England for processing, manufacturing, and marketing. The colonists then had to purchase back the finished products at higher and inflated prices. This system effectively allowed England to exercise full economic and political control and to economically exploit its colonies as well as other nations. England became the king of slave trading. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Why does it seem like it's getting to King James? Maybe because it's saying king all the time, but let's read. And held a natural monopoly on constructing slave-based economies. The English crown established the first franchising system that built plantations, financed the slaveholders, supplied the slaves, and shipped and processed the slave-produced goods. It took a full century for the American colonists to recognize that they were locked into an English monopoly. Once the reality set in, they began calling those monopolies tyranny. The American colonies rejected England's plans to expropriate the fruits of slave labor and to control the politics of the colonies. The colonists knew from the English history of serfdom that any system that politically subordinates, economically exploits, and socially dominates a group of people is tyrannical because it reduces them to slaves. And so the colonists knew this. The colonists did not want to be England's serfs. They prepared to fight, and when they did, they ignited and fought the Revolutionary War for their independence. The second phase of monopoly building began shortly after the Revolutionary War. The American colonists immediately drafted the United States Constitution, which imposed on Black people the same government-sponsored tyranny that the colonists rejected under the English rule. The founding fathers of this nation, most of whom were slaveholders and sympathetic to other slaveholders, drafted and ratified the United States Constitution. That document gave the colonial slaveholders a collusive monopoly, the same monopolistic controls that England had over the colonies before the war. And remember, the collusive monopoly said that that's when they all formed that tightly knit group of public agencies and private corporations. And they enter into specific agreements, to keep people from their businesses and meeting aspirations and all that business mindedness and stuff. But the shared monopoly, I guess that would be like for your stores and your storefronts and your gas stations and stuff like that. But all over the board and stuff, they ass had motherfucking monopolies to lock your ass out. But I digress. That document gave the colonial slaveholders a collusive monopoly, the same monopolistic controls that England had over the colonists before the war. Just as slave labor had made England wealthy, it allowed Southern slaveholders to operate in their own best interests rather than the best interests of Northern white people or the best interests of enslaved Black people. The North eventually concluded that it could not acquire competitive wealth and political power until it broke the South's monopoly on Black labor. In 1861, the Civil War broke out between the North and the South over wealth and political power. The third phase of monopoly building occurred after the North won the Civil War. The war effectively destroyed legalized slavery and transferred the South's monopolies on wealth and political power to the North. I want to go back. That just seemed to me like the greed today was almost like the exact same greed then. Because white folks were so greedy, they wanted to keep all the wealth that they was getting and profiting to themselves without the care about anybody's well-being and stuff, even other white people in the North and stuff. And that's what we see today and stuff. They want all of the wealth for themselves and don't want to distribute it to anybody. And I'm glad they didn't either, because that's how the war ended up happening, because the North said this shit ain't right. We ain't getting none of it. They ain't sharing none of it. It's wrong that they getting it like they getting it, and then they living high on the hog. Everything must take its course. Yep. But I digress. I was just saying. The North eventually concluded that it could not acquire competitive wealth and political power until it broke the South's monopoly on Black labor. So in 1861, the Civil War broke out between the North and the South over wealth and political power. It wasn't even just stop slavery. Couldn't that have been enough to start this war, to stop what was happening? This inhumane treatment of Black people. No. So if white folks had started sharing all of their wealth and profit and power and stuff with the North, we would still be enslaved. We would still be enslaved. A motherfucker ain't shit. The Third War of Monopoly building occurred after the North won the Civil War. The war effectively destroyed legalized slavery and transferred the South's monopolies on wealth and political power to the North. Yep, the war effectively destroyed legalized slavery and transferred the South's monopolies on wealth and political power to the North. The North focused its newly acquired wealth and power on industrializing the North and the West. The massive amounts of money previously invested in the slave industry and Civil War military production was used to build bridges, canals, railroads, ships, and factories. However, in achieving the political and economic defeat of the South, the North had ignored the 5 million ex-slaves. Didn't even think with none of that profit to let's get them some help. It was all for money. They motherfucking asses was greedy too. It was all for money, all for profit. No wonder our ancestors said we ain't got no friends. Major political organizations in the North went on record opposing emancipation of enslaved blacks unless they were shipped out of the country in order that they not compete against white men's labor. Stephen Steinberg wrote, "The North abandoned black ex-slaves. The South got the message and commandeered blacks into semi-slavery, while the North looked the other motherfucking way." According to a memorandum of proceedings in the United States Senate, the Southern states, by their situation and climate, require black labor and must have it, or the states will cease to have any value. Yeah, so they require black labor and they must have it, or the states will cease to have any value. They'll be worthless than a motherfucker. That's what that means, in my opinion. The Southern states enacted black codes that, again, gave them a shared monopoly control on land, economic systems, governments, education system, and black labor for another 100 years. Both the North and the South used various levels of government to create white-only business and political, intellectual, and social monopolies. These advantages of property, technology, political participation, and major business opportunities were passed on to succeeding generations of white males. So see, y'all asses don't get to say that you didn't benefit anything. White America don't get to tell us they didn't benefit anything. They don't have nothing. They struggling too. They started from the bottom too. That shit is waiting for your motherfucking ass to your big greatest grandmama pass away. You got it. Your family might have squandered it. Who the fuck knows? But you got it. You had it. It was yours. And it should never have been. That's the point of it. It should never have been. Just because they squandered it before you was born, that don't mean that it's void. You still reap the consequences of what your ancestors did. For another 100 years. So the North turned they motherfucking head and let them further semi-enslave us. That's why, yeah, every motherfucking body can get up and go. Get up, get your ass up out for this brown and black land. That's where take all your white counterparts with you. Racial monopolies in America. Racial monopolies predetermine winners and losers and are considered a normal part of our political economic structure. Through these monopolies, white society maintains a lock on the essential elements of black people's lives and makes black people spectators in the democratic process. The racial monopolies discussed below are but a few of the newly invisible structures that marginalize and justify Black America's position as this nation's permanent minority loser. Permanent, that means forever. That means forever. So see, yeah, you can't look for friends. You ain't got no friends. You ain't got no friends. You better start using discernment. And for all those that's finna leave this country and stuff, take yourself back to your natural land. Take all your bullshit with you. Get your 5G towers. Get all your bullshit that you done constructed and built and take it over there with you. so y'all can use it. We'll rebuild America. Get up and go. Get up and get your ass on up out of here. Monopolies established in the Constitution. As indicated earlier, the United States Constitution is not and has not never been colorblind. It is race specific and color conscious. For all intents and purposes, the Constitution remains unchanged. The founding fathers were the first ones to play the race card, honey. In fact, they were the original card dealers. They allocated rights, resources, and power to the majority white society. In other words, white people. America essentially has two constitutions, one for white people and one for black people. Constitutional amendments 1 through 12 are race specific and empower majority white society, white people. The 13th through 15th amendments were also color specific. They gave citizenship and empowerment rights to black ex-slaves. Now, the 13th Amendment eliminated legal slavery. The 14th Amendment gave black people equal protection and due process rights. The 15th Amendment extended voting and other social rights to black people. Majority society has co-opted these amendments, that's white folks. During Reconstruction in the 1860s, major social and economic forces began to make these amendments colorblind, even though they were originally specific to black people. The term colorblind was not formally used until 1896, when Chief Justice John M. Harlan of the Supreme Court issued a dissenting opinion in the Plessy versus Ferguson decision. I think I got something on that. I'm going to look for it tonight before I come on. I feel a deja vu. I feel a deja vu. It might not be Plessy versus Ferguson, but I do have a couple of Supreme Court statutes. I'm going to find them. The Supreme Court held that there was nothing wrong with separate but equal accommodation for black people and white people as a public policy. But Justice Harlan said the Constitution was colorblind. He was the first one to say it, but he was wrong. The Constitution is and always has been color specific, y'all. The color consciousness of the Constitution was no accident. The Constitution codified the racial inequalities that existed initially in our society. James Madison, a major author of the Constitution and a slaveholder, knew he was not including black people when he spoke of how the country would always be divided between those who held property and those who were themselves property. When he spoke of owning property, he meant items such as household furnishings, livestock, and land. He also clearly included ownership of slaves. When the Constitution was finally ratified in 1789, however, it used broad, ambiguous, and inoffensive public relations type of words, such as all and everyone, rather than to refer directly to black people, to black slaves. Still, it established a system in which the racial group defined as white could hold monopolies of wealth and political power over the subordinate black group that was classified as personal property and only 3/5 of a human. The Constitution also included an affirmative action provision for the South that eventually led to a civil war between the North and the South. The Constitution made white Southerners a protected minority with the privilege of holding a monopoly on slavery. More specifically, provisions in the United States Constitution gave the Southern minority political rights, preferential treatment in the Fugitive Slave Act, favorable quotas on the export and import of slave-related products, and set aside advantages on elected representation in Congress. The revered document declared freedom and justice for everyone but black people, while giving special status, privileges, and rights to the South. The Constitution continues to be used as a basis to deny preferences, affirmative action, and reparations for black people, black Americans. That's your Constitution. Your Constitution is where it's stopping yet. Well, that's one of the ways to look at it. You need to look at your constitutions. Your constitution. It says it right there. Dr. Claude Anderson, no. I ain't changing too many words. Instead of saying blacks, I like to say black people. Instead of saying white society, I will say it and stuff. I like to say white people. Citizenship and the benefits of whiteness were constitutionally denied to black people. Ironically, like black people, like blacks, Indians were also specifically identified in the Constitution, but they were excluded from official abuse because they were categorized as free inhabitants and encouraged to assimilate into white society. They wanted Indians to be on that white side with them. By the end of the 19th century, American Indians had the option to leave the reservations or remain protected wards of the government. Yet throughout their relationship, white leaders in various institutions have recognized Indians as an acceptable extension of white society that ranked higher in the biological order than black people. Is that because the Indians was the $5 Indians by that time? We'll get to that part too. I don't know if that'll be in here, but I'm just asking. When the United States Constitution was modified in the 1860s through the addition of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, the Black Constitution, after numerous rewrites, the final language contained ambiguous words such as all persons, any person, and everyone, although it was commonly understood that the constitutional amendments were for black ex-slaves. So even though it was understood it was for black ex-slaves, now all of a sudden all persons, any person, everyone can come on in. Come on in. The door is open. The initial congressional enabling language hinted that these civil rights laws bound the United States Congress to take care of ex-black slaves until they could take care of themselves. To this day, however, Congress has never abided by their own laws in this regard, and members have sat by silently while the dominant society has boldly undermined the economic rights awarded to black people. They allowed the majority white society, white people, to co-opt the Black Constitution and promote the myth that the United States Constitution was colorblind. The Constitution was conceived as a socioeconomic covenant for those who already had power, wealth, and nearly unlimited rights. To be a truly democratic society, this nation would have to redistribute and share some of its wealth and power with Black Americans. Black America. The Black Constitution was passed following the Civil War because of the efforts of a small group of radical, liberal, Republican congressmen who succeeded in amending the Constitution by including color-specific amendments for blacks. These amendments gave blacks a minimum level of rights that certain congressmen hoped would offset some of the tyranny of the white majority society. White people. I think this is going to be our last one right here, and it ain't long. Population monopolies. One of the first acts of the U.S. Congress following the ratification of the Constitution was the enactment of this nation's first naturalization and immigration law in 1790. This law declared America to be a white nation and set a zero quota on black immigrants, except as slaves. A quota of approximately zero remained in effect until 1965, when it was increased to its current level of 0.5%. Throughout most of this nation's history, peoples of African descent have been nearly shut out of the immigration and refugee programs of the United States. Blacks have competed in this nation's majority wins population game almost exclusively from birth rates rather than immigration. Though they could never win as a national majority, they have also never won as a local majority. The Black Civil Rights Movement's quest for integration ensured that blacks would always be a minority population in white schools, businesses, jobs, communities, or entertainment centers. And that's white schools, white businesses, white jobs, white communities, or white entertainment centers. The census is conducted every decade and establishes the official population count of the country. Efforts to create a multicultural category in the 2000 census will most likely dilute and in reality distort downward the number of blacks in America. Dilution of population numbers assures that blacks will lose status as the numerical majority minority. Government efforts to change racial definitions will retain the white population majority, the monopoly, and inflate the numbers of Hispanics in the population. In his book, Uprooting Racism, Paul Cavell, Kivel, if you want to look it up, says whiteness is a many-faceted phenomenon, slowly and constantly shifting its emphasis, all the time maintaining a racial hierarchy and protecting the power that accrues to white people. Although there are no natural or essential qualities or characteristics of whiteness or of white people, it is not an easy fiction to let go of. By constantly enlarging the ethnic boundaries of whiteness, all Europeans, Middle Easterners, Hispanics, and soon Asians, whites separate people who are entitled to privileges and wealth from people who are exploited and violated. In a group-based society, constant efforts to enlarge the majority white population ensure that a shared racial population monopoly will continue to exist far into the future. The 2000 census form offers blacks 54 subcategories to opt out of their race and further atomize their population numbers. The census will not dilute whiteness. On the contrary, it further expands the definition of whiteness. Well, how about can't nobody motherfucking be Caucasian if you ain't Caucasian? Let's look at how a shared white monopoly impacts Black America's life chances. Whites are a planned majority. Blacks, on the other hand, are a planned permanent minority. Limited by immigration policies, blacks are only 12.4% of the general population. They are outnumbered 7-1 by a shared white majority that is 87% of the population. This means that white people can override blacks at least 7 times, making it impossible for blacks to take over anything. Moreover, with the exception of entertainment, Black people do not exceed 1% of ownership, control or representation of anything positive in American society. In critical skills professions such as doctors, lawyers, architects, engineers, scientists, judges, physicists, business owners, wealth holders, and elected officials, Blacks never exceed half of 1%. If every Black professional was hired in public sector or private sector jobs, whites would still hold approximately 99.5% of the professional positions. Wow. If all of the 36 million Black people in the entire country were employed, it said, if all of the 36 million Black people in the entire country were employed, the educated, the uneducated, senior citizens, those in prison, children, infants, teenagers, their total numbers could never exceed 12% of the workforce. When Blacks try to even marginally increase their percentage in the workforce, white people are threatened and initiate a backlash. That's why we need to go ahead and do for ourselves, get our own businesses. Get our own businesses. Hell, let their ass work in their old stale, stagnant ass businesses, and we get our own. Shit, you know how to cook. Get your own restaurant. You know how to braid hair. Get your own, braiding station, your own salon and stuff. Yeah. Those of you that's got your gardens and stuff, start your little garden up. Start selling your fruits and your vegetables and stuff. I need some seeds. We need seeds. We need plants. We need soil. So, this is how they want it and stuff. This is how it's going to be. We came to this point right here by everyone else not doing and not using their due diligence. I call it fear that they had. I don't know, fear or faint, just want to get the dollar, just want a paycheck. But this is where we are today. And I thank y'all for this, but I'm going to let us go now. But we will pick up right here tomorrow with wealth monopolies. That was population monopolies. Tomorrow we'll pick up with wealth monopolies. Yeah, this is. So you see, y'all, it ain't no need for us to feel bad and feel so disappointed in ourselves and stuff, because I'm a failure. We didn't make them pinnacles that, we so thought we were going to make when we were in our innocence, because things happen and everything happens to get us to the point you are in life today. If I had graduated, I probably wouldn't be here on this end of the stick. Yeah, I probably would be up high, but I probably would be saying, no, I'm not going to sign this bullshit right here. So, it would just be. But everything happens for a reason. And now today is what matters with what you do with your time, how you use your energy, and guard your energy. Don't be just running all out here and stuff. Everybody see your energy before you even get out in the opening, before you done got in the restaurant room and sit down or got to wherever you going. People already see your energy. Everybody want to touch on your stuff. Guard your energy. Keep your gratitude about you. Keep some gratitude about you. I don't care if it's about the rain and stuff that, that rain finna soften that dirt up. And when you get home tonight, you going out there and you're going to dig you a little bit of hole of dirt. Not so nobody can fall in and dig it up against the tree if you must. And you're going to start you one little small garden. You got a bell pepper in the refrigerator. You're going to take some of them seeds out of that bell pepper and sprinkle in that dirt. Put one seed in one little pot and let it grow up and stuff. When you're done with that, if you still got that little top on that bell pepper, take that whole sucker and put it in some soil. I'm just saying, keep some gratitude about yourself. Keep a song in your heart. Remember our music, our songbirds. Stephanie Mills, we love her. Natalie Cole, we love them. Remember our people. Remember us and all that they left us, all that they invented, wrote, produced, created, contributed for us. Don't let these beings, species, a new species, wipe us away like that. We are the cosmos manifested. And if your ass don't know, now you do. And I love y'all. I love you to life and afterlife. I'm concerned about us here and there. I'm not worried, though. Don't be worried. Honey, just be wary. If worst comes to worst, mines come first. Worst come to worst, mine come first. You can always come back to earth as long as it ain't blowed up. You can always come back to earth. So don't worry about none of this and stuff. Just do what you need to do. Look out for yours. Somebody going to survive and need that vegetable garden that you're getting prepared and stuff. Somebody going to survive and need all of this knowledge and stuff. That's why we got to get it together. Once we got it and stuff, as we get it, teach it, understand it, research it, get in depth with it so that we can know these things by memory and not just by notebook. I love having my journals. I love to write, but I'm learning to commit all of this knowledge, this new knowledge to my mind, to my mental, so that I can have something new to talk about. Yeah, I don't want you coming over here talking about no damn WAP and all them people out there and stuff here. They ain't gonna pay your light bill. They didn't tell your ass to send them your light bill. I told you to put that light bill on a sign. Go outside and staple it right there. Go outside. I need help with my light bill for me and my 3 children. And somebody will help you with that light bill. Ain't now celebrity told you nothing. So don't come over here talking to me about it. But I digress. I love y'all. Peace and power to the people. And take care of yourself. Start teaching our babies. Shay would love for you to get started with Betty before X, and then she gonna start telling you ain't reading fast enough. What happened next? She gonna be telling you spell the word. So yeah, she gonna be ready to read. Start teaching our babies and stuff. Let's introduce them to something new. Let's introduce them to the greatness like they've never seen before, or they don't remember. Yeah, because this right here, all this shit out here, this ain't it. Peace and power to the people. It's so good to see you, J.R. Meadows and Kelvin and Rainwater. And yeah, Kelvin, I am going to get them gifts out and stuff. I still got them cups, but it takes me a long time to do things and stuff. But I'm working on it. I'm learning and I'm making. I sure appreciate y'all. I appreciate your patience and, your presence. And that's what really matters to me, that we learn these lessons that we need to know. And we learn who we loyal to. And that's our ancestors. We loyal to our ancestors. Yep. And I'll see you tonight. Yep. 12 o'clock tonight. Midnight with the ancestors.